What's going on, guys? Shane here. Today we're talking about the uppercut and 5 common mistakes I want you to avoid. So let's first demonstrate how to do it correctly. Going on a straight heavy bag, I like going to the body with my uppercuts just because it keeps my wrist straight. Going to the head sort of puts it at a weird angle. So I'm going to demonstrate both, but something to keep in mind if you do practice on a heavy bag. All right, so the rear hand looks like this, left hand looks like this, and then to the head with the rear and the lead, okay? So it's a short range shot, and that's actually the #1 mistake that people make, is doing it from too far away, reaching for it, and then you're very exposed to a counterattack. If I'm at jab range, I shouldn't be able to land my uppercut if I'm doing it correctly. I need to be in here. So how can I get in here? Well, maybe we're clinched up, right? I give him a little shoulder bump, then I land my uppercut, or I'm forward pressure, a lot of punches to get on the inside, then I can work my uppercuts, or let them come to me, right? Let's say they're overcommitting on their jab, I can slip, let them run right into my short, crisp rear uppercut, okay? The next common mistake, actually before we get to that, you can throw. People will argue, well, what about like a corkscrew uppercut, right? That's getting more and more popular now. This one, okay, but I consider that more like an upside down jab, right? It's the same motion and movement as a jab, my palm's just up in the air. So if we're talking about a real uppercut, then yeah, you should get on the inside if you want to actually do serious damage and be effective with it, okay? Next one is, don't throw it if it's not available. People get really excited, right? I want to land an uppercut, it'll be a cool knockout, it's a cool sounding name. If it's not available, why would you throw it, right? But if I got a guy that's doing this a lot, he's ducking his head every time I throw a hook or a jab, then yeah, then I can catch him. If he's smaller than me, perfect, I'm gonna catch him. If I'm fighting a guy that's 7 foot tall, I'm not gonna reach up here to try to hit him, okay? Next, actually #3 is no Mortal Kombat uppercuts. You don't need to exaggerate and scrape your knuckles on the ground and punch all the way up here. I'm aiming for the chin, right? And one of the best things about an uppercut isn't that itself, but it's lifting their head out of their guard. If I catch them on the chin or on the face with an uppercut, now they can't protect themselves from the hook. Boom. So uppercut hook is a great combo. Usually the hook is what knocks them out, not the uppercut necessarily, okay? Next mistake is not coming up through the guard in the center, right? A lot of guys stand like this. This is a correct form. Why would I throw it at an angle though and punch their elbows? I need to make sure that when I practice, when I train, it's coming straight up the center here, okay? Not at an angle like this. Sometimes you can get away with doing that. You got a guy that's really exposed, yeah, I can throw these. But in training, like I said, I want to get in the habit of coming straight up the center with my punches, okay? The last common mistake is throwing an arm punch, like a curling motion. The power doesn't come from your arm, right? It's not in your bicep, so I don't want to see this, but I do see that a lot. Instead, what I want you to do is throw it from the ground up. I twist and I bend my knees. Think Mike Tyson, right? He keeps his hands glued to his cheeks, he loads up with his knees and twisting his hips. Then at the last second as he's coming up, boom, that's when you release and let go. Now there's gonna be some arm movement, right? But you do want to practice as minimal as possible, because the more arm movement I have, the more exposed I am, boom, to get countered. Okay, so instead, try to keep it here last second, that's when you release, boom. And the power comes from your legs. Like I said though, there will be times when you drop, especially in the later rounds, and that's okay. Just keep it as small of a gap as possible. All right, guys, thanks for watching. There's a link in the description below that'll take you to an article on fighttips.com for drills and exercises that you can do to perfect the uppercut. Be sure to subscribe to get the fight tips before your opponent does. I'm Shane with Fight Tips. Self-defense for the underdogs.